What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another NBA wrap-up. You see it. Yeah, man. It's Ron and Eru rocking again, baby. We out here in these streets. What up, Eru?
Chilling, man. Always happy to be here. Always happy to sit next to my man, Ron, man.
Hey, man, I appreciate you, brother, as always. The conversation is always dope when I got Eru out here rocking with me. We got a special guest joining us tonight. So it should be pretty exciting, pretty fun. I see he's a Knicks fan, so he's gonna have his say with regards to our New York Knicks. And we are definitely gonna show the rest of the NBA some love, y'all. I know y'all out there, y'all Brooklyn Net fans waiting for your. Not the Brooklyn Net fans, my bad, but the rest of y'all that actually is still rocking and playing. Sorry, I had to take a Brooklyn Net shot. They get me sick and their center, man, he gets me. I don't even want to talk about him. All right,
they're a sad lot, man.
Crazy, man. It's crazy. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Anyway, let's bring our guy to the stage. And guys, also, we're gonna chop it up about the NBA. But if you're fans of hip hop, stay tuned because right after this show, we're gonna head right over do the wrap up on the front stoop, and we're gonna get into this man's musical background. The lyricism. I mean, man, y'all are here. Believe me, y'all in for a treat. So let me bring him up. We got Furious Floyd joining us.
Yo, what up?
Get him up here. Hey, what's happening, my brother?
What's good? How y'all doing?
What's good, Furious, man?
Chilling, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I came across you on the Twitter space, man. I think I heard you speak a little bit, and then you said you had a hip hop album, so I could hear your voice. So I was like, you know what? Let me click it. So while you was talking, I clicked on the links. Well, I see you had a full length album there, and I clicked play, and it was like, whoa, look at this. I was like, where's this coming from? But like Ron said, we'll get into the music, in the second half. But I just wanted to say that before we get started.
Yeah, man. It's dope to have you, brother.
I do my thing a little something. I appreciate it. You know what I mean? A lot of times people hear me talk and they're like, I'm like, oh yeah, I rap too. And they're like, oh yeah, huh, okay. And then they hear my songs and they're like, oh, he raps for real. Like, yeah. So, you know what I'm saying? So I'm glad you checked it out, man.
Yeah, definitely. The voice and then the Knicks takes, associated with that made me go to the next thing. You know what I'm saying? So, people will hear it as time goes on. They'll get what I'm talking about.
I can't imagine what that feeling feels like. I mean, that must be incredible. I mean, I'm not jealous of a lot of things. Yeah, of course, I'd want to have a great life. I'd want to have tons of money and be able to get what I want, but in relative reasonable manner. But the only thing that always hits me is being around people with talent. Like, man, what that must feel like to be talented. That must be special. Anyway,
it's nice. You know what I mean? Like, but I feel like a lot of talent really comes down to just repetition. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when I first started rapping, it sucked. It's terrible. It's hard. Like when I say horrible, like I spit a line that was so corny to my homie that like I stopped trying to rap for like 2 years.
Yeah, wow.
I was like, yeah, nah, I'm good. I'm not good at this. This ain't my ministry. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a lot of that really just comes down to just sticking at it. And eventually, if you spend enough time doing anything that you love for real, you'll get good at it. You know what I'm saying? So
that's dope. And that's a good mantra to have, man. Don't quit. Give it a try and give it a real try and see what it is. I hear that.
Yeah, all right. It's a good segue to sports too, because the same thing with sports. If you really love your team, you can really get into it, and then not just talk about it. You can actually come up with your own takes and actually break it down better than any expert can break it down. So,
100% facts. All right, gotta get it while the getting's good. And this is horrible. I mean, it's horrible because I just find this as such a level of stupidity. I don't know what's up with people, man. I don't know how you could. There's so many people clamoring for a chance at something special, and when you get gifted an opportunity, even if it's fleeting, even if you can't hold on to it for too long, at least try to make the best of it. Ah, Jontay
Yeah.
Porter, the brother
Oh
of
Lord.
Michael Porter Jr., gets banned from the NBA permanently for gambling. Unbelievable. I can't. I'm like, what goes through your mind? Do you not say? Do you not have the? Remember the TV shows or the movies where they used to have the good angel and the bad angel? Like, used to have two sides. Like, before I do this, hold on, wait a minute. Huh? 300 to 400,000 a year gambling. I might hit, I might not hit. I mean, come on, man. Like, what are we doing?
Like the Dave Chappelle skit, like when keeping it real goes wrong. You know,
Right.
For sure.
I'm like, come on, man. What are we doing here? I can't even believe it. And I can't what makes it worse to me, it's one thing to make a silly decision like this, because everybody makes mistakes. Especially he's a young person too, but you make silly mistakes, right? But to make a silly mistake like that when you're not the only one, it's not like, hey, I'm out here on my own. This is an opportunity for me. I wanted to kind of get my gamble on. But you know what? Let's see what happens. No, you got a brother who's out here doing it too. Y'all both made it. Are you gonna tell me is your brother doing it? No. So why would you? Oh man, it's horrible. Okay, all right. Let me get off my soapbox.
Yeah.
Eru, your thoughts on Mr. Jontay Porter and his great decision making?
well, I mean, how easy is that? Because I mean, all of us are gambling and stuff. I mean, like in a hole like that you would not believe right now as far as sports betting and stuff. But it could have got even uglier because like his brother could have been in on it, and then his brother's teammates it could have been like just guys in a group chat kind of thing. And if that came to light, then everybody would be in trouble. Could you imagine that?
Right, right, right. Yeah. Well, I mean, Floyd, my brother. I don't know, man. I don't know what to say about this one.
Man, listen, like I do a little sports gambling here or there, but like I don't really go crazy with it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's a quick way to get addicted to losing your money. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So like I do a little parlay here or there, but my thing is more like I'm betting $1, $2, $3 on something outrageous. So it's like if it happens, cool. But this is like essentially a lottery ticket for me. Some people really, it's like it's addictive, like it's physically addictive. You know what I mean? The way
Mm-hmm.
that like it's very similar to like doing drugs or anything like that. That's addictive. It gives you that dopamine hit, gives you that rush,
Right.
and some people just like that's their drug of choice. So for him, it's like, man, listen, dude, you are in the NBA. I don't know what it is about these players, whether it's him or like Calvin Ridley or whatever. I don't know what it is that makes you think that sports gambling makes sense when you play professional sports. Like that's not what it is. You can't do that. Like it's very apparent that that's like a conflict of interest. So like for him to
Right.
do that and then like end up essentially playing himself out of the NBA is just it's terrible. I think also though they hit him with that whole lifetime ban because they need to make an example out of somebody before it's a worse thing. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like I don't know if y'all heard about the whole Shohei Ohtani thing that
Oh yeah,
happened,
of course. Mm-hmm.
right? And it turned out he actually was innocent, and actually his translator just like stole $4 million from him. You know what I'm saying? Like, but if that was anybody other than Shohei, they would have put a lifetime ban immediately before the invest. As soon as they thought you did something, you'd have been gone because they got to make an example out of somebody. So this doesn't happen with somebody the stature of a Shohei Ohtani or whatever. So like
Right.
they don't want it. They got to get Jontay out of here because they got to make sure we don't want Steph Curry or somebody that like really matters to the league. Not to say they would do that, but like you can't allow it. You got to know you could be out of the league for this so that people understand. So that first person always gets hit hard. Like, you know what I mean? Calvin Ridley, they got him out of there for a year. He didn't even bet on his own team. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Pete Rose still ain't in the Hall of Fame. You know, so it's just
Yeah.
like, they had to make something happen. But at the same time, incredibly stupid. Like I still can't believe he actually did that. That's like man, listen. Pay me
Yeah.
anywhere near $1 million. Like, and not like if you have the money, you don't need to gamble because you don't need the money that you can get from the gambling.
Correct.
So like,
Yeah.
why?
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? People gamble. Most people that gamble that ain't like addicted to it, they gamble because they're like, yo, I'm trying to get a little bit of bread. You know what I mean? I could use $1,000. You know, I got my bills, whatever. If you got it, just stop. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, I had a situation recently where I kind of came into a little bit of money, and like when I was betting at first, I was kind of betting like, oh, I bet $1, but I bet a whole bunch of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I like kind of came into the money I came into, I was like, you know what? I don't even need to do this. Why am I throwing my money away? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even really want to do. And it's like I feel like if more people had that mentality, where it's like, I have the money, so I don't need to bet to make more money, then they could
Right.
avoid these situations. But again, I don't even think it's about the money. I think it's about the rush. I think he wanted, he was parlay pimping, and it cost. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
My
And you
bad,
know
that
what?
was very long for me.
No. That's great. It's a great great take. Like that. I mean, it's real. What what really, what makes it worse? I mean, there's so many different things here. Like you're like, why? But but then this, but then that. The NBA doesn't say as an athlete that's a part of their league you can't gamble. All it says is don't gamble on the NBA. What
Yeah.
type of dummy can how stupid can you
Like
be?
how
Like
stupid
what are we
exactly.
doing?
It's crazy.
Oh,
Like even if you gone gamble, like I was saying with Calvin Ridley, like he was gambling on something entirely different that wasn't NFL. I could see you doing that and not realizing it was a problem until it became a problem. But like if Calvin Ridley was betting on the Giants, like it's over for you, fam. Like, you know what I mean? Like you have to know better than that. Like that is like, that's not even a stupid mistake or like a young man mistake or anything. That's idiocy, bro. I don't understand what would cross his mind to make him think that was gonna fly, but crazy.
Well, like they've done so many movies throughout, our lifetimes, like gangster movies, drug movies and stuff like that. But yet, still people still gangbang, people still sell drugs, even though they know the consequence, they still get themselves involved in it because, like you said, there's an addiction to that dopamine effect. You know what I'm trying to say? I really like what you said. That addicted to losing money. I think that's my problem. I'm addicted to losing money, man. It's not even about winning at that point. It's like, yo, I got like $100. Bam, let me see how broke I can be and still make it to, that's a crazy way to think about that. But that's
you know what? That's not far fetched. There are people that just love the dopamine, the thrill of actually gambling. It's not even you gamble so much that the winning doesn't even matter as much anymore. You're not even thinking about that. Like for example, Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan's got all the money in the world. He loved gambling, though. He would just gamble because he just likes to gamble. My father-in-law, rest in peace. My father-in-law won $35,000 one time, and by the time the day was over, he lost $35,000. I'm like, oh my god!
Whoa, man.
Yeah. So yeah. Some people just like that, man. Some people just like that. So that's crazy though. Shout out to the chat. Thank you guys for being here and rocking with us. Space Ghost, I see you. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights, Annuity 25. What's good? I am Jarrell. Kerry Cox is in the bill. Salute to everybody. To those who may be tuning in, not in the chat. Appreciate y'all as well. Please smash that like button, show your love for the show. And we got our special guest here, Mr. Furious Floyd. And like I said before, if y'all are hip hop heads or interested in hip hop, please tune into the second show when we get on the front stoop and chop it up about hip hop. It's a lot of good conversation getting into this man's life and his craft, but also talking about current hip hop events because we got a lot of hip hop beef going on, which I'm here for it. So I can't wait to chop it up about that. So, oh man, you know what I mean? Like man, Jimmy Butler sprains his MCL and is out 3 weeks. Is Miami's playoff chances cooked? That's what I want to know. I'll start with you, Floyd. What you think, man? You think? I don't know.
Get them out of here. It's a wrap. It's a wrap for them. Like it's a wrap. Like I said when we were watching the playing game, I was saying I want Miami. Like I wanted Miami because what could have been sweeter than catching Miami and playoff Jimmy and a 2-7 game, and then in a 2-7 series, and then knocking them out of the playoffs in the first round, where they're seemingly invincible in the first round. So like I wanted Miami, and their team is not as good as their team was last year. But I'm kind of glad we got Philly now, because that would have been the narrative. Like the narrative would have been, oh, the Knicks only beat them because playoff Jimmy is out. And if Jimmy
Right.
was healthy, the Knicks would have
Right.
lost anyway. So like, all right, yeah, y'all go lose to the Bulls and just get out of here entirely, for real. Because like, I don't hate the Heat, and I have a lot of respect for their organization and for Jimmy and for Spoelstra, but like, they weren't going to win it this year. They weren't going to go as far this year as they did last year. You know what I mean? The team is like, they're missing key cogs of the team that made them as good as they were last year. Like, people forget that Miami last year, if not for them suddenly like catching the most amazing streak of 3-point shooting that they've maybe ever had, then they don't make it that far anyway. And they caught Giannis in them when Giannis was hurt for like 3 games and then was playing injured after that. You know what I mean? There were a lot of things that kind of fell Miami's way. Like we had Julius injured. We had Quick injured last year. Like there were a lot of things that fell their way in order for them to get as far as they did last year. So with a more depleted roster this year, I didn't think they were going to really do anything anyway. You know what I'm saying? But without Jimmy, it's a wrap. Jimmy Butler serves a function for their team that when they're gonna let go of the rope, he doesn't allow them to. Like if the roles were reversed and they were playing the Sixers and it's halftime and they're down by 15, the way the Sixers were down by 15, the Heat don't come back in that game if not for Jimmy. You know what I'm saying? That's what he does. He kind of, at a certain point, he'll be like, nah, we're not going to lose this game. It's a very similar function to like how like Brunson serves for us kind of thing. Like when it comes down to it, you have that player that really has that never say die attitude and is kind of infectious. You know what I mean? And that keeps them in the game. And then they have like one of the best coaches ever in the NBA in Spoelstra. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's what kind of keeps them in it. With Jimmy out, they don't stand a chance. I don't think they might lose to the Bulls for real on Friday, tomorrow. Like they really might, and just be out of here.
I could see it because let me tell you something. The way the Bulls been playing the last couple of games before the regular season was over, they have a little fight in them. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Bulls beat them.
Yeah. The only thing that makes me feel like they might make it anyway is that the Bulls are also missing Caruso. Caruso hurt his ankle, and he's going to be out too.
I didn't know that.
And he's a very key cog of their team too, defensively and offensively. Like he's their best defender. And then like offensively, he shoots a lot of threes and like gets a lot of easy buckets for them on kickouts. So like, when they really focus on DeRozan, like that's when he kind of eats, and he's kind of really like their tertiary scorer. So without him, it's still pretty even. Like either team could win, but I don't think either team beats Boston after that. You know what I mean? I feel like the Heat might have had a shot because of Jimmy and because of their whole history with Boston folding when it comes to them. But nah, the Heat are pretty finished. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to throw dirt on their grave or nothing like that, but I think it's a wrap for them for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's just kind of, I don't know. I wish they were healthy and had won and would play us so that we could have got them out of it. But it is what it is.
It is. There you go. That's exactly what I was going to say. It is what it is. Eru, what's your thoughts on Jimmy Butler's injury and Miami's chances of going any further than they've gone?
Yeah, I'm with Furious too, man. Shout out to Terry Rozier. He's out also. So I mean, they're just all the way up out of here. You know what I'm saying? Because if they had Terry Rozier, they might have beat Philly the way Philly was playing last night. So I mean, they're done. But what I really wanted, I just wanted Boston and these guys to have tough matchups in their first round. Because them playing Miami, like the way that they play the illegal screens and stepping on people's feet and all this other nonsense they do, knocking guys down on purpose and stuff like that. That would have been great to see, just from a competitive standpoint and just from us see them getting beat up, because we're gonna get beat up in the first round also playing against Philly. So just competition wise, you always, as a fan of basketball, you just want to see the best matchup. But Miami's done, man. No animosity. All that old feelings from the '90s that happened so long ago, man. But still the same thing.
I hear you. I agree. I think it's too much to overcome. Miami is a weird team because of the fact that they're not a tall team. They've got some players over there. They're a feisty bunch, but they're not like a superstar bunch over there. They got like good role players, and so when you lose a guy like Jimmy who gives you that heart and soul of the team, and then not even having the guy you brought over in Rozier, you just got back Tyler Hero, and Tyler Hero's getting back into game shape. It's just bad timing for that team right now. So yeah, I think they could beat the Bulls, but it wouldn't matter because I just don't see that team really being able to put up a big fight against Boston or what they got. But I wouldn't be surprised if they lose to the Bulls, even without Caruso. I just think they were a small team, so I think a lot of teams could give them trouble right now, especially.
Right.
So that being said, Philadelphia did beat Miami. And so they took the 7th seed, and that allows them to be the first round matchup for the New York Knicks. And already, you know what I mean? It's like we're in the Super Bowl time. It's got to be a bunch of dead air space and media sound bites and all this crap. And 76ers player Paul Reed is happy they are playing the Knicks. It's an easier matchup. And notice how I had to say 76ers player Paul Reed, because nobody knows who the hell he is. So I had to say that so that
he's Embiid's backup. Which means you ain't playing anyway. Like
exactly.
All right.
So shout out to Paul Reed. I mean, look, if I'm being a realist, right? Is he wrong? No. Do I want to hear from him? Do I think the Knicks need to show him a little something? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I mean, he's not wrong in saying that it was a choice between playing the Knicks or Boston in the first round. I'd probably rather play the Knicks. If I was Philly, I'd say the same thing. I don't want to play Boston in the first round. But still, as a Knicks fan, not what I want to hear. I don't want to hear that, and I want the Knicks to make Philly an example. I want the Knicks to play Philly the way they played them when they cooked them early in the season, even when the game was not as much of a blowout when we beat them with Embiid. Let's go. Let's give Philly the beats, and being that it is Philly and so close to New York, when we get to Philly, take over Philly's arena as well. Make it it's a home away from home. So that's what I want. That's what I'm looking forward to.
The Nova boy is going to be home anyway. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I saw somebody say Jalen Brunson is the best basketball player currently from Philadelphia. So it's like, it's that time.
And I love it. What are you thinking, Eru? You jacking what Paul Reed is saying?
Well, I was offended, man, because it's always the bums that always got something to say, man. The other guys that are really part of the rotation that are really putting in work and stuff like that, they're not saying nothing. But the guy off the bench that barely plays, sometimes he didn't play at all. You know what I'm saying? Even though he did play well that one game where the game that we all went to that day was like the worst game ever. He beat us.
Worst,
that was like
he played good in one of the worst games ever. Yeah.
Right. So that's the type of player he is. So he got some nerve. But I'm looking at the Bucks, Cleveland, or the Magic. They all. Even the Pacers and the 76ers, they were so close that any of those guys could have been the second thing. So now I'm taking offense to it because you're talking about the Sixers, Pacers, Magic, Cavaliers, Bucks are all better teams to us or better matchups than the Knicks, and harder matchups. Yeah. So I'm like, come on, dude.
I don't know about that. That's nuts. I don't know about that.
Yeah, our guys don't need to be like threatened. They don't need to be, they don't need that extra motivation. They show up ready to play. But a team like that are already just have that the inner dog already. What did you just do to them? You just threw blood all over the crime scene now. So they're gonna come through and at least that's what I'm hoping, that our Knicks come out there and just tear them apart, man.
I hope so too, man. That's listen. We don't need no extra motivation. These guys are professionals. They're very motivated amongst themselves. But if you want to give us extra motivation, let's go. We'll take it.
Yeah,
bulletin board material.
Yeah. I want to see DiVincenzo bang it on him, man. Go baseline and just go bam right on top of his head. You know what I'm saying? And let out a primal scream or something like that. That'll be what he deserves.
Yeah. I would love to see it. I would love to see what happens because I mean, and if I'm not mistaken, the last time we played them in that nasty game, well, we played them back to back, but in both those games, we didn't have Mitch.
Right.
So when he gets in there with his garbage minutes and Mitch is off the bench, we'll see how he does against Mitch.
Right.
Yeah. I can't wait. I can't wait. Um, I don't know, Floyd. Are you able to weigh in right now? I think he's getting set up. He looks like he just went from outside to inside. So give him a couple minutes.
Yeah.
So we got that going on, right? And the West Coast got their own stuff happening as well. So the Lakers have advanced in the play-in tournament to face the Nuggets in the playoffs. So they're the 7th seed over there. What do you guys think about that matchup? Let me go with Floyd because I see you. What do you think about the Lakers versus the Nuggets?
Y'all can see me now? A little
Yeah.
better?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay. Word. All right. Yeah, I figured I'd get in the car and try to get a little bit better of a lighted situation. So, real quick, just to answer your question from before.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. 76ers, congratulations. Y'all get knocked out in 5 games in the first round. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the type of time we on. Like, honestly, I would rather be in 4, but honestly, you don't want to put that past nobody in terms of them being able to win a game in the series. But from what I could tell, they look hurt. They look slow, especially when it comes to Embiid. All of the super foul baiting that he always does is not going to work to the same capacity in the playoffs, which is always the case with him, which is why when he gets deep into playoff runs, that's how he ends up like not being nearly as effective, especially in late games. When you get to like game 6 or game 7, all that like I'm trying to shoot 15 foul shots today, shit stops happening. You know what I mean? And that kind of detracts from his game so much that usually a lot of times he ends up not being anywhere near as effective as he normally is. So like I fully expect it to be a situation where like, if he's trying to play that kind of game and just flopping all the time, there's going to come a time with the way that we play defense that they're going to stop calling every little thing just because that's how it is when you have physical teams, especially in the playoffs. So, like, there will come a time where all of his foul baiting and stuff won't work. Now, that's not to say he's not talented enough to make shots on his own anyway. But you're going to need more than that, bro. You're going to need more than friggin' Emerald card Nicholas Batum to beat us. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to need more than that. You know what I mean? Like, Nick Batum playing the best game of his life. It's not about to happen in a 7-game series against the Knicks. It's not. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not going to let him shoot that many threes. We're not going to let him make that many threes. Like, if you think about it, Batum in the 4th quarter is the reason why they even won that game. It wasn't Maxey. It was Nick Batum. You know what I'm saying? So in real life, like, Philly doesn't put any kind of fear in my heart, for real. I think it's going to be Knicks in 5. I think we win the first 2 games. I think they win the first game in Philly just off of adrenaline and the fact that they're home and they're going to need it. I think we win game 4 and kind of shell shock them, and then they come back to the Garden and they don't leave the Garden. They go home after that. That's what I think happens. You know what I'm saying? But, we'll see what happens. At the end of the day, like, I could be wrong. You always could be wrong. But we're not here to say, and like, we're not here to be like, oh, yeah, well, they have a good team when they're fully healthy. And, Embiid, he was the MVP last year. And I don't care. I don't care. This entire season, people have been talking about how the Knicks aren't whatever. Right now, the betting lines say that the highest probability thing is Sixers in 6. Like, they're saying that the Sixers are going to beat us. Like, that's the good money, is that the Sixers are going to win this series. How? Like, how? Like, I don't understand that. Like, granted, okay, y'all didn't have Embiid, so you figure that, if you plug Embiid back in, you look back at the beginning of the year when, Embiid was good, hey, they were one of the best teams in the conference. Like, yeah, that's great. So were we. You know what I mean? Like, that, like people act like they were, the 2 seed at a certain point and we weren't the 3 seed or the 4 seed. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, we have gone through this season with such a string of injuries and such just the worst injury luck in the entire NBA. And I think the advantage that it gives us is that we have a bunch of Nick Batums. Like we got a bunch of them. Like we got a bunch of dudes that could just go off in the fourth and just kill you. You know what I mean? Like dudes could get hot and just kill you. You know what I mean? Like Bogdanovich can get hot and kill you. Brunson is going to be hot and is going to make every attempt to kill you in the fourth period. You know what I mean? So like we got a bunch of players that can do that. You know what I mean? Like they got Nick Batum and Kelly Oubre once every 17 games. You know what I mean? Like, and then they have Maxey, who's decent, but like we're gonna have Deuce on him. We're gonna have Jontay on him. You know what I mean? You got Embiid, and we're gonna have 48 minutes of amazing defense on him. You know what I mean?
Right.
If push comes to shove and it gets really nasty, we could put OG on Embiid or on Maxey, and they're gonna have real deal problems. You know what I mean? Like, and Tobias Harris is Tobias Harris is Tobias Harris. He's the half Hollow Hills West dude. Tobias Harris played in Long Island. My cousin actually played against him when he was in high school. And the thing he always said about Tobias is like, nah, he's good and he's skilled, but more than anything, he's just big. He's just big. Like he's big and he can do a lot of the things that people are saying he can do, but he's big. And when he gets to the league, he's going to be okay for a while. And once they figure out his game, he's going to be very, very average. And that's exactly what happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't see Tobias all of a sudden killing us. I just think it's a wrap, yo. I think we're gonna come out there and punch him in the mouth game one. You know what I'm saying? Like, and in the event that we don't, I think we definitely punch him in the mouth game two. We're not gonna go 2 games in the Garden and lose both games and go to Philly. That is not going to happen. Like,
Well,
it's just
man,
not.
I hope you're right, bro. I feel very confident with my Knicks team, but you know, I still gotta watch it play out. I tell you one thing that does worry me a little bit before we get your take on the Lakers and Nuggets is I thought it was impressive to watch them against Miami and how everybody who went up to the free throw line knocked down big free throws in that fourth quarter in the last couple minutes. I thought that was pretty impressive. And that if there was anything that kind of worried me a little bit, is just that I need the Knicks to take commanding leads, or if the game is close, knock down their free throws at a high clip. They don't have to knock them down, like they don't have to be perfect, but knock them down at a high clip. Because I tell you, I may be wrong, but I don't remember Philadelphia missing a free throw in those closing minutes. They were knocking down everything. So that's the only thing that bothers me, because sometimes the Knicks can get a little lax with their free throw shooting in tough moments when we need them to hit them. So that's about it.
Yeah, you can't leave it in the place of the referees too. Between the free throws and letting the referees get involved in the game. How we get rid of that is that we got to stop playing with these guys, man. We start games fooling around sometimes. Even sometimes in the second half, we kind of do that. But you know, lately we've been like the kings of the third quarter. So if we could start the game the way that we're supposed to, because Tom Thibodeau's supposed to be like this master, preparer. He's the most prepared coach in the history, right? One of the best, in that regard. So if we could start the game the way we're supposed to, and then the third quarter finish them, and then just give me the third quarter, come through with that game plan, and then the fourth quarter just completely annihilate them. That's how we should take these guys out, But giving them a little bit of confidence, that goes a long way, man, to teams like this, So we got to be very careful.
Yeah, I agree with that. So we'll see, guys. But I know, we're all feeling pretty confident, feeling good about our chances, considering what we've already done in the regular season against Philadelphia and a lot of these teams. So we just got to hope it translates to the playoffs. The bright lights don't bother any of our younger guys that may not. I mean, we're only talking about a few guys, to be honest. Brunson's going to be fine. We've already know that he steps up in the playoffs. I think the Nova boys will be fine. The only, like, if I'm going to look at somebody and say, how do they play in the playoffs? Even though he has experience, still got to watch Bojan and see how it translates in the playoffs. But more importantly, got to watch Deuce and see how Deuce reacts in the playoffs. It really shouldn't be that big of a deal, but you just never know. But I feel good about it. I think they're going to come out in really good fashion. So that being said, what's your thoughts real quick about the Lakers advancing and taking on the Denver Nuggets? You think the Lakers got a shot to knock out Denver? I don't know. What do you think, Eru?
The Lakers always do that. They kind of like coast through the season. They lose games and they shouldn't. You know what I'm saying? Then when it comes to the playoffs, all of a sudden now these guys are playing, pristine basketball. So that's all due to LeBron James. That's like his master plan to do that. So I mean, guys like Anthony Davis is defensive player of the year candidates and that type of thing. You want to talk about MVP candidates? All these guys are listed among those guys, man. So the potential for them, for them to win is still there. They still have role players there that feeds off well with LeBron. Then LeBron is the smartest player on the court at all times too, man. So they're always gonna have a chance to win. And then Denver also to the they got jokers and stuff, but some of the other guys could be canceled out because we've seen that with the Knicks. The Knicks have done that to them. We actually handed them some of their worst one of their worst losses, man, because Joker still did what he did, but we were able to lock everybody else down. So that's
Right.
possible for them. Yeah, so it's gonna be a good series. Definitely.
Yeah, I agree with you. It should be interesting. I mean, the Lakers would have to do a lot to beat Denver in a 7-game series, but they can make it interesting. What's your thoughts, Floyd? What you think?
Yeah, I just realized I never answered the Lakers question.
Oh no, you could.
So
Now's your
yeah.
time.
So I think it's going to be a better series than people think. I think last year the Nuggets hit a lot of crazy shots. Like they hit a lot of wild shots when they played in that Western Conference Finals. And I think that if the shot diet isn't as great, like it's kind of like the Heat. The Heat went on that run last year because they were just hitting everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if that doesn't happen the same way for the Nuggets, like I could see the Lakers presenting a lot more of a problem than they think. I think also, considering that LeBron lost to them, LeBron's not trying to lose to them again. He knows that this is one of his last opportunities to kind of get a chance to get the ring. He knows if they can knock out the Nuggets, they have a good chance against anybody. You know what I mean? The Nuggets, considering the amount of talent that they have and that they have Jokic and the size and all of that, presents such a problem that if they get through them and then they end up playing like, okay, we're playing the Mavs or we're playing the Clippers, like they got a shot. You know what I mean? Like they get to the finals, the conference finals, they have a shot. So it's like, I think it's going to be a lot more competitive than the last one was. Because the Nuggets, as much as they're the favorite and they're the defending champions, they're not as much of a juggernaut as they were last year. You know what I mean? Like there's the same roster and the same team, and it would stand to reason that they would be just as good. But like, let's not forget they're the 3 seed. Or the 2 seed, actually. They could have been the 3 seed. Like Minnesota is right there with them. OKC is right there with them. And if it was Minnesota or OKC playing against the Lakers, we'd be giving them a legitimate chance. Right. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't think the Lakers are just completely outclassed by them. I think talent-wise they are, but I think when it comes to playing games, and especially when it comes to playing away games, because the Nuggets really haven't been a great away team this year. There was a stretch at the beginning of the year where they lost like every away game to teams they had no business losing to. Like they lost to the Grizzlies away. They lost to the Rockets away. Like they were losing anytime they weren't playing at the crib. You know what I mean? And that hasn't changed that much. They've been playing a little bit better on the road, but they're not a great road team. And to go into Staples and have to play the Lakers, that can kind of have an effect. I think the series is going to go 6 or 7 for real. You know what I mean? Like, and I wouldn't put it outside of the realm of possibility of the Lakers winning that series. I would still pick the Nuggets just because the sheer amount of talent they have and the synergy that their team has when they are on and playing well and playing together is really crazy. And they have Jokic, who's one of the best, they have a floor general on a level of LeBron that almost no team that plays LeBron has. You know what I'm saying? So when you got that guy that can look at and analyze and break down the opposing team's defense on a very microscopic level, like the way that like LeBron when he has the JJ Redick podcast, and they're breaking down the individual plays and how to play bound plays and stuff like that. Like Jokic understands the game on that level. You know what I mean? So playing against that's going to present problems, but also at the same time, I think that LeBron has a better defensive mind than Jokic does. And I think that compensates a lot. You know what I'm saying? So there's no player in the league smarter than LeBron James. You know what I mean? And going into this year, knowing that everything that's on the line, that he's going to be 40 next year. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think he's going to give it his best effort. And I think barring his body really breaking down, I think the Lakers have a real shot for real. I think it goes 6 or 7. And I wouldn't be surprised if
I wouldn't be surprised if the Lakers win in 7, and I really wouldn't be that surprised if they win in 6. Because if they can get one of the Nuggets games and get the 2 games at home, Lakers end up winning in 6.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think it's going to be a close one for real. I really do.
I mean, listen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I was going to say you can't count the Lakers out because you never know with that team. Okay.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
yeah, they came in as the 8th seed last year and went to the conference finals. Like,
right.
You know, so
yeah, you can't discredit them. But what I was gonna say, I was gonna use like a comic book kind of thing. Once you see the like the big bad guy bleed, you know what I'm saying? Once you see them bleed, now you can defeat them. So the Denver Nuggets, like you said, they lost a lot on the road in the beginning of the season. The Knicks, embarrassed them a couple times. They got embarrassed quite a few times. So we've seen the big giant bleed a couple times, man. So anything can happen with them, in this series right now.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah, it's very true. I mean, listen, I'm just excited for this year's playoffs. Obviously, I'm excited to watch the Knicks. I mean, that's not a question. But I'm just excited in general. Like I feel, a new renowned passion for watching basketball. And I think these games are going to be pretty interesting. I think it's also interesting that we got some new teams, participating, like the Indiana Pacers, the Orlando Magics, the OKC. Like, I think this is interesting to just watch these younger teams get their shot, get their feet wet. I don't expect a lot of overall success from the younger teams, except for OKC. OKC could be a little surprising just because they got some really, really good players on that team playing like way beyond what I think they should be playing right now, as far as just like experience in the league, but their natural God-given talent is taking over. And so they've been fantastic. I would say just outside of the Knicks, because I want the Knicks to go all the way, but outside of the Knicks, the 2 teams that I'm most interested in watching and see how they do is OKC and Minnesota. Those 2 teams, I don't know. They could shock the world, those 2 teams.
They got a real shot. Going into the last game of the season, it was a straight 3-way tie between OKC and the Timberwolves and the Nuggets. You know what I mean? Like, it was that last game really determined the seeding 1 through 3 for them. And I think that the playoffs in general this year, like, it's kind of like last year. Like, we haven't had this much parity like across the NBA in a long time. Like granted, Boston won like 15 games more than everybody in the East, so they're the clear favorite in the East, right? But even that, they always have that question where they're always the favorite, they're always the 1 or the 2 seed, and then they always get deep in the playoffs and they fold. You know what I mean? So you have those questions about them. But like every first round series is really intriguing this year. Like, you got the Nuggets Lakers rematch, right? You got Clippers versus Mavs again, where they always seem to catch each other in the 4 or 5 game and knock one of them knocks the other out. You know what I'm saying? So you got a grudge match there. You got OKC is more than likely going to play the Kings because Zion's going to be hurt. So you got basically the new Kings. The Kings used to be the young, scrappy team that, you know what I mean, had a legitimate shot and didn't quite get the proper respect, and now they're going to play OKC. You know what I mean? You got the Timberwolves, and the Timberwolves are playing like the 7, I think. So, or they're playing the 6. So they're playing the Suns. So you're going to have KD and Booker against like Ant Edwards. That's a very intriguing matchup, and then Boston is going to end up playing either the Heat or either the Heat or the Bulls. And granted, like, neither one of those are really intriguing considering the injuries they have, but like that was bound to be the least intriguing series anyway, just because they've been so much head and shoulders above the East in terms of record this year. But if they would have played the Heat and it was something where Jimmy wasn't hurt, that would be a very intriguing series. You know what I'm saying? Us versus the 76ers with Embiid coming back and with us being the 2 seed, but a lot of people not giving us quite the credit of being a legitimate 2 seed. That's a very intriguing series. And then you got the Bucks and the Pacers, and the Bucks and the Pacers is a crazy series just because of the fact that the Pacers have had the Bucks number all year. The Pacers have been busting their ass like every time they play. Like, you know what I mean? They knocked them out in the play-in tournament. They've been killing them all season. I think the Bucks maybe only have like 1 win over the Pacers this year. Like, they've been like their kryptonite. You know what I'm saying? So like that's a crazy series. And then you got Cavs and Magic, which is probably the least intriguing series of all of them. But at the same time, it's like, you got the Cavs and you got, Donovan and you got their team, and they've been trying to get over the hump against this really scrappy Magic team that plays amazing defense up and down with
Right.
a bunch of young players. You know what I mean? They might be a couple years off from being like what OKC is to the West, if they can keep together and the players continue to improve. So it's like every series is interesting. Every series either has an interesting storyline or the matchup is interesting. You know what I mean? And all of the series are, you don't really know quite who's going to win. You know what I mean? Like, you don't really know. Like, so I think it's going to be crazy. I think there's going to be a lot of parlays busted this playoff season. Like, I think it's going to be a lot of people that are going to lose a lot of money betting on things that should be obvious and won't be. So,
Right. Well, before we get out of here and get on to the next show, y'all, I want to ask you guys. I'm not going to ask the whole who you think's going to win it all, or who you think's coming out the East, or who you think's coming out the West. What I'm going to ask
you know where we at with that.
Oh well, yeah. What I'm going to ask you is, I hit you with the matchup, and y'all just say who y'all think is going to win the matchup. So,
Okay.
The Thunder and either the Kings or I guess the Pelicans, right? Yep. Either the Kings or the Pelicans. Who do you think is going to win that matchup versus the Thunder? To me, it's the Kings or the Pelicans, but either or, I think you could still kind of give your same take. But who do you think is going to win that? Eru.
Well, I think the Kings are going to pull it out. Just like you said, Zion is out, so that's probably going to be the reason why they advance. But in the series with the Thunder and the Kings, I think just record wise they're not similar, but just the way that they play, matchups, here and there between Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Fox. You got Sabonis and you got their players, their big men there. So that's going to be a fun matchup. It should be up and down. There's a lot of young guys there, so I think the transition of the league going from like all these older players like LeBron and all these guys, and now you got all these new guys coming in there, the new blood. So I think all that is intriguing to me, man. Because when you watch a basketball, like if you love it, man, you really scout it. You watch the guys and see how they move it. Somebody's always bringing something different, man. So that's gonna be something I'm gonna be looking forward to it. And my wife is gonna kill me because between that and the WNBA is coming too, man. If we could, there's so much great basketball out there, that it's gonna keep us all occupied for real.
Yep. So you think Kings will knock off the Pelicans and wind up playing the Thunder, and then you think the Thunder beats the Kings, or?
Yeah, I think the Thunder beats them.
Okay. What do you think, for Floyd?
I got OKC in 4, to be honest. Like, I got OKC in 4. I don't think the Kings win a game. I think it's going to be the Kings because obviously, Zion's out. But
Right.
I don't think they get a game off of them. I think every key player on the Kings, OKC has a great defender for.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You got the league leader that steals and Shea. He's going to be on Fox all day. You know what I mean? They got Chet that they're going to throw at Sabonis. You know what I mean? And Keegan Murray, they got Dort and they got Jalen Williams they can throw at them. And then also offensively, they don't have the same amount of firepower. I think they get them out of there real fast. I don't think they like the beam once and it goes 4.
Okay.
I hate that catchphrase. I like the beam stuff. What do you think about like the beam?
That's so new to me. I don't know about that.
I actually kind of like it. I think it's dope, especially for them to be a team that doesn't get a lot of recognition. I mean, they play in Sacramento. They're like the 4th most popular team in their state. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's a cool little thing for them to do. But like, I think also, I mean, it gives you that. When y'all lose, you know what I mean? You got Steph Curry being like the beam on them, you know what I mean? Like, so hey, you know what I mean? Like, but it's cool. I don't think they have anything for OKC for real.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that they're doing something like that, but because they are that type of team and their culture. I just don't think like they need to do anything like to me. Honestly, I've always said this. Sacramento to me seemed like one of the best places to play. It may not be the best place to live and have your family if you're used to other things, but as far as basketball and that arena and the fans, it's one of the most exciting places in the NBA. It's always been that way over there, especially when the Maloof brothers took it over. I mean, I know they're not there now, but when they took it over, I mean, forget about it. It was nuts over there. But
Yeah.
they have a good time. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But so let me speed through the rest of these to get us out of here. Clippers and the Mavericks. Eru, who you think?
That's tough, man. I think the Clippers, just because they have a little bit more firepower. I'll just leave it like that.
Okay. What you think, Floyd?
I got Mavs in 7. I think that's going to go 7 like it almost always goes 7, and I think the Mavs get them this time.
Yeah. Okay. I'll say I don't think I even said anything. I'm in agreement with you guys. I think the Thunder beats the Kings if it's the Kings. I don't think it'll be the Pelicans, but I'm like Thunder in 5. I could see it in 4 though, but Thunder in 5, and then the Clippers and Mavs. I'm with you. Like the longer the series go, I think it benefits the Mavs. So if it's a long series, I say the Mavs win because the Mavs look like they finally, I can't even believe it's happening. They finally look like they're gelling with those two guys over there in Kyrie and Luka. They figured out a way to play together. So I'll say the longer the series goes, it's the Mavs.
That's what I think too. I think when it gets late in the series, I think they're going to pull away just because of health and age. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I get
that makes sense.
I agree with that too.
What do you think about the Timberwolves versus the best team that money can buy in the Phoenix Suns? Eru, what's your thoughts, brother? I'll go to Eru and then you, Floyd.
Yeah. Do you think?
Well, defensively, they play better defense. So I just think defensively that'll be like where they lay their hat, and that's how they should win the series.
Gotcha. I agree. What you think, Floyd?
I got Wolves in 6. I think that it's going to be, like he said, defensively. I think they have a lot defensively that they could throw at the Suns. And I think that, I think they'll get 2 games just off the strength of KD and Booker and the fact that Beal seems to finally be getting healthy. You know what I mean? So with the tandem of those 3, I think if they have 2 of the 3 have a hot night or 2, I think they can get the Wolves a game or 2. But I think the Wolves win in about 6.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I think the Wolves win that series as well. I just think the Suns are missing something, and hopefully it's a good thing, and the Suns get knocked up out of there, and then Devin Booker is a New York Knick next year. But whatever, I've said too much. Okay. Nuggets versus Lakers. I know you kind of already gave your take on it. So just who you think is going to win the series, Nuggets or the Lakers? Eru?
Lakers, just because my parlay says so.
I like it. Okay. All right. What do you think, Floyd?
I got Lakers in 6 or 7. I think the Lakers are going to pull it out.
Ooh, this is interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Shout out to the chat. Marshall L in the building. I see you. Knicks 100. What's good? Kev, my guy, the co-host of Nixon-ish. What's good? Salute to you, my brother. And I see Rich, the African elder. I'm trying to speed through this real quick so we can answer that question that you put out there. So hopefully just bear with us. Give us a couple minutes. 2 minutes, actually. Celtics and whoever they get. I don't know why. I'll ask y'all, but whatever.
Celtics.
Okay.
Yeah.
Eru.
Celtics. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
You got 2 hurt 8 teams like Celtics. It's over.
Yeah. It's nuts. Cavaliers versus the Magic. Eru?
Magic, because I hate the Donovan Mitchell question. So Magic.
What you think, Floyd?
Magic. For the same reasons as OKC over what's the name? Over
the Kings.
Whoever they play. It's defensively. They have a lot for them defensively, and I don't think the Cavs are going to be able to withstand that. Honestly, they have too much defensively. They're going to shut down everybody except for Mitchell and maybe Garland on a good game or 2. So I got Magic in 6.
Yeah, I agree with both of you guys. I think the Magic are going to be able to pull that cat out the hat. I think Cavaliers big men are fugazi, especially in the playoffs, and I just don't think that Garland has stepped up enough this season to really help that team have continued success. This might be too much for Donovan over there. All right, Bucks and the Pacers. Eru, what are you thinking, brother?
Pacers. Because I think Giannis might be hurt, but Giannis still will play. But I just think, they just have a bad mix over there with Dame and all that. So I think the Pacers, just based off of how they played them all year, that they beat them in the play-in, like you mentioned earlier. So I think they beat them in the series.
Okay. What are you thinking, Floyd?
I got Pacers in 7. I think this goes. I think the Pacers have been their kryptonite all season, and I think that without a healthy Giannis, that helps put them over the top. I think that if Giannis was healthy, I think they get them out of there in like 5 or 6. But I think with Giannis hurt, it just is going to expose their interior defense to such a level that like it's gonna be a lot more about like them making good plays on the interior than even like raining threes on them. But I think most of the games are a blowout either way. One team gets hot one game, the other team gets hot the other game. But I think in the end, I think the Pacers are going to get them because Giannis is going to be compromised.
I agree with that. I think you're both right. I think the Bucks and the Knicks are victims of the same issue. They're both slow teams. And when you play a team like the Pacers, an up-tempo team that really pushes the pace and puts you against the 8 ball, it's very tough. Now, the difference is the Knicks are one of the best defensive teams in the league. The Bucks are not. So I think the Pacers could get I think the Pacers could get the Bucks up out of there because they can't make up for the fact that they're slow with their great defense. They just don't play that level of defense. So I think they're in trouble. Who's this last bracket here? Knicks and 76ers. Eru.
Knicks, baby.
Knicks
and 5. I think Knicks and 5.
Oh,
Knicks
okay.
and 5.
All right. Oh, okay. You did say that. I hope it's the Knicks in 5, but I honestly think it'll be the Knicks in 6. I hope it's the Knicks in 5, though. I would love to see that. So we'll see what happens. But yeah. All right. So that's that, folks. That's our guesses for what's gonna happen in these first round series. But before we get out of here, real quick, just want to get to Rich the African Elders question, and let me get this up out of here. Boom, boom. And then boom, boom. All right. So the question was, oops, sorry, I just hit the wrong one. Poll question: still want Donovan Mitchell or build organically? Eru, what's your thoughts on this?
I'm over it. I'm over the Donovan Mitchell conversation because people want superstars. They want the superstar conversation. The media wants the superstar. They want Donovan Mitchell to come here and wow, look at the guy from New York and blah blah blah. Look at all the shots he can shoot. You know what I'm saying? That's what they want. But from a basketball standpoint, I think the Knicks are past that. I like the way DiVincenzo plays. So playing with Brunson and how we got everything going. I think we need to build the team that way. I don't think getting Donovan Mitchell is what we should be doing. We got to upgrade the team some kind of way, but I think I'm just over the whole Donovan Mitchell thing right at this point.
Okay. What you think, Floyd? What's your thoughts?
The same. I think that if we get Donovan Mitchell, it's going to sacrifice our chemistry. I think that we're going to have to either get rid of Dante or we're going to have to get rid of Randall in order to get Donovan Mitchell in the first place. It'll be like Dante and Deuce and another player, or it'll be Randall. You know what I mean? And I think if we get rid of Randall, then we don't have anybody to play the 4 except for Precious, and we're going to have too many shooting guards. You know what I mean? I think that the fit isn't going to work, and I think the amount of money that we're going to have to pay him, the amount of players we'll have to give up that are key to the chemistry of this team is going to be too much. Like if we could get him in free agency and still keep the core of our team, then I'd be cool with it. But the fact that we're going to have to trade with the Cavs for their only big chip is just not going to be worth it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess I will say I have a feeling that the Knicks are at the point where they think they have built the team that can compete and win it all eventually, and they just want to tinker with that team. So if they can go out there and find somebody that can just fill a need, the gap that we're missing, someone with some size who can, get the ball in the hoop and play some solid defense. Doesn't have to be necessarily a 3 and D, but someone who can play defense and can score a little bit. I'm sure that they would love to find somebody like that, like just one of them young players that has a lot of ability but just hasn't hit their stride yet, like a Trey Murphy the third or something like that. But you know what I mean, like somebody like that if you need a bucket, I honestly, I don't like him because he's a little bit cocky, but a Kelly Oubre would fit this Knicks team pretty well. Just say, but
he would. I don't like him either, though.
I
But
don't
he
know.
would be a good fit.
But I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised, guys, and I know it probably falls in line the same thing, especially what you were saying about breaking up the chemistry and all this stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if the Knicks go all in on and I'm not even talking about Donovan. I wouldn't be surprised if the Knicks go all in on Devin Booker, because I don't think Phoenix is going anywhere, and I think Devin Booker's finally going to see the writing on the wall. I'm like, I got to get up out of here. And I think the Knicks are going to be salivating. I think Leon Rose loves Devin Booker. So I don't know. From what I'm hearing, I wouldn't be surprised if they go all in out, for him. And that could mean us giving up one more player that we're not thinking about. We're thinking about maybe a Deuce, maybe Bogdanovich, all these picks. But who's going to be that extra player that makes it happen? I don't know. Could be Julius. I don't know. But I'm just throwing that out.
I think it would be Julius. I think it'd be Julius because you need somebody with a salary similar to Julius in order to make the money work. And in order to satiate the Suns. And then also that's going to get him closer to home in Dallas. And, like with this Knicks team, with the front office, whenever they trade a player away, they try to trade them into a good situation. Yep. You know what I mean? Yeah. They traded quickly somewhere where he could start and RJ somewhere where he would be home. You know what I mean? Like the only time that didn't happen is when they traded Fournier because he was talking. You know what I mean? Like, and they sent him to Detroit. So I think that, getting Julius closer to home out there in Phoenix, closer to Dallas, I think they would do that. And I think they would package Jontay because it's going to be redundant skills at that point. And I think it'll be Jontay and Julius and a bunch of picks and possibly Deuce just to make the money work. You know what I mean? Like, but I kind of really don't want to do that. But if we did it, I wouldn't be super upset at it because this front office's ability to fill in the rest of the roster with players that don't cost $1 million, that are solid role players, I trust their judgment in being able to refill out the roster. I mean, we got Deuce signed for like $3 million for the next 3 years. You know what I mean? Like, so, like I don't see them wanting to give up Deuce, but I see a team like the Suns wanting to get Deuce in addition to getting a big name player like a Randall, who's an all NBA player, and being able to fill that shooting guard spot. So I think it'd be Randall. I think it'd be Randall and Deuce and Jontay and picks and like 2 or 3 picks is what I think the trade would be.
The conversation is too good. I know we're cutting into our time on the other show, but let me add this last thing. Would you guys be okay with this? If this is the scenario, I know we're talking about Donovan Mitchell because Donovan Mitchell seems like it's an inevitable type thing for some. But what if somehow this Devin Booker stuff is real and the Knicks did go all in and get him? Would you be okay with the Knicks going to war, keeping Josh Hart, keeping DiVincenzo, having Brunson, keeping OG, and bringing in a Devin Booker, having to trade Randall, and just get ourselves an adequate power forward who can kind of give us maybe half of what Randall gives us, like 5 rebounds or 6 rebounds a game, and maybe like 10 or 12 points, but plays decent defense. A journeyman type. Would you be okay with that? Maybe like a Precious. Maybe that gives Precious that could elevate Precious's role. That's true. So, I mean, so would you be okay with that situation?
I wouldn't be mad at it, honestly. I would feel a lot the same way that I feel about the OG thing, which is that, like, I didn't want it to happen, but after it happened, I was like, I could see it, and then it worked out for the better overall. I could see myself feeling the same way about that. It's like, I don't want to do that and do that trade, but like if we traded Julius and we're able to keep Jontay and the rest of our players and OG and whatnot and get Devin Booker and have Jontay coming off the bench as a 6-man and, stick Precious or somebody else that we can get in the off season into that power forward role, I think it does make us a little bit more of a formidable team. I think it does. I mean, and that's not to say that I think Randall isn't just as formidable, especially at his position where there aren't that many great point power forwards. But also we've seen in 3 consecutive years, he's never been healthy for the playoffs. and that is gonna be the goal going forward. You know what I mean? So like I wouldn't feel great about it the same way I didn't feel great about trading quickly in RJ, but I could understand it and I wouldn't be mad at it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And let me get Eru's take on it, but before we get out of here, but shout out to Kev. Shout out to Long Island Sound in the building. Salute. HP Carlos all the way from Portugal. What's good? Salute to you. But shout out to Kev. He said, who are you replacing Randall with? Not Precious. But remember, listen, when we talking about what Randall provides, yes, he's a lot in one package. He gives us rebounding and he gives us, the scoring output. But we're talking about Devin Booker here. Devin Booker, Devin Booker is giving you 25, 26 a game and can light it up for even more. And the other sneaky thing about Devin Booker, he's a good facilitator, actually. If you look at his assist numbers, he gets assists and he's not too bad at grabbing some rebounds. Not Randall-like, but I'm just saying, like, you are automatically replacing the points because Devin Booker is a star-type player. It's just you're building your team differently. It's going to be a different look. Wait, so anyway,
Exactly.
what's your thoughts? What's your thoughts, Ebro?
Just like Furious alluded to, I could just live with it. If that was the decision, I could live with it because I could see how we can build through that. Because I'm thinking like remember when the Houston Rockets won against us, and then they went and got Clyde the next year. So like it might have changed what they did a little bit, but it added something, and then I could see how you can go forward with it. So just as long as we don't change everything else so much that we're playing completely different, but I think Devin Booker coming through here will be a better option than say a Donovan Mitchell, just from the height difference and just the way that both players score. What I'm saying? I think he definitely fits better than what the Knicks are trying to do.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. I hear you. All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for tuning in and rocking with us. Please smash that like button if you haven't already done so for the show. Our special guest here, Mr. Furious Floyd himself.
What up, though?
Shout out to Lady and the Chef. What's good? Hope you're doing all right. Please go support two Knicks chicks if y'all haven't already done so. Lady and the Chef and her moms, Diva Locks. They great Knick content. Please support them and show them some love. But we're about to head right over to the front stoop and get into our wrap-up show with some hip-hop talk and really get into Mr. Furious Floyd and his craft. We're going to talk about the current hip-hop beefs that's going on right now, and we're going to talk about possibly the destruction of hip-hop thanks to AI. So it's going to be a good conversation over there.
That is scary. I have a lot to talk about that, actually.
Oh man, I'm so frustrated. I can't wait to start talking about it. So yeah, man.
Wow.
But once again, thank you guys for being here and rocking with us. Eru, final words?
Listen, man, you heard Furious's takes basketball. Incredible breath control, as you can see. So if
an MC, bro,
I'm trying to make the connection. You know what I'm saying? So if you picked up on that, you'll definitely enjoy his music and that conversation too. So come over to the front stoop, and we can get busy with that in a few minutes.
Yep, sounds good. And Floyd, once again, thank you for being here and chopping it up with us on the sports end. I'm really excited to talk to you. And now we're gonna get you over on the hip hop side and get into that, and then we're gonna hear some hot fire from Floyd, man. He got some tracks that man, I can't wait to get into it.
Yeah, man. I'm for those that don't know, definitely pull up to the other YouTube. Like, yo, I am a great rapper. Like, I'm great. And a lot of people say, I'm trying to be less humble because I'm a very humble person, but also like I've been at this for like 15 years. Like, I'm really, 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 really good at this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I run a record label out in Louisville, Kentucky. We got like 6 artists. I'm a national touring act. Like, this is not just, oh yeah, I rap too. Like, this ain't that type of time. So like, check us out and check me out. We're gonna have some of my songs. We're gonna play some of my songs. My album's out. Check us out, and I think you'll enjoy it.
Hey, I mean, I couldn't say it better myself. All right, y'all. We'll catch you on the other side. We are just gonna start up as soon as possible. So head over to the front stoop and check out the wrap up. We'll be chopping it up with our guy Furious Floyd. So we'll see you in a little bit. We out.
Run that